Hey everyone, welcome back to Out of Band, a Microsoft Security podcast. I'm Andrew O'Young, a AI workforce capability lead at Infomotion. I'm also a Microsoft MVP in security and M365.
Hey all, I'm Shehan, MVP in security, specializes in Intune, Defender, and Entra ID, Identity and Access Management. I'm also an architect in Unified Identity and endpoints.
And I'm Anthony Porter, a cloud security architect at Canon Business Services, specializing in the Defender and Intune space.
Sweet as. Now, it's been a hot minute, and we've been a bit light on the last couple of months. There's actually been a couple of us traveling around and soon to be traveling. And it's safe to say this is probably the last episode for 2025, so we'll try and go out with a bit of a small bang. But yeah, let's just last month, Anto, you were in the UK, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, first time passport, first time going, I guess, far overseas. Obviously being from Perth, West Australia. It's a 18-hour commute, which we broke up in Dubai, which was, yeah, pretty full on. I definitely now understand when people say 18 hours of flights is absolutely, not something to be enjoyed. I now can agree with them absolutely that I would not do that for fun. And I
You
praise
should
those that
try.
do.
I was going to say you should try from Adelaide to Melbourne to Dubai to Barcelona to yeah. Anyway,
Is that the 24-hour one?
that was close. That was 30 hours, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. And
yeah.
look, I wasn't a fan of flying east because 4.5 hours was a bit. But no, I think I could smash a
Yeah.
45, like a 4.5, like half hour now. It'll be yeah, I wouldn't even bat an eyelid at it now. Whereas before, I was like, yeah, no, this is full on. But no, I went, yeah, I've said, went over to the UK. So visited a bit of, I guess, some of the countryside. Visited London. I went over to France, saw Paris, saw the Eiffel Tower and all those good bits and pieces. Um, but definitely happy to be home. I think it's a long time to be busy, and I'd almost say coming back home is a bit of a rest, which is always a bit of an odd thing to say. But yeah, definitely happy to be home.
Yeah, something about a holiday after a holiday kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we all have little children and whatnot, so the yeah, it's it's a lot harder, and especially jet lag coming back. Obviously,
Yeah.
trying to battle jet lag alone is an interesting feat, but trying to battle jet lag with a 2-year-old is definitely that.
That's the
That
most hardest part, I would
oh
say.
my
Yeah.
god, it's like I'm like there was a couple of nights that like my wife and I we'd wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning, just starving, and we'd roll over and grab like an apple or a banana because it would be like dinner time in the UK when it's like 2, 3 in the morning. And the first couple of nights we were just up at 4 a.m. just being like, well, may as well get up. We're all very awake right now. But no, as I said, absolutely happy to be back. Happy to be back at work. Finish off the rest of the year. I was going to
Cool.
say, Shehan, you recently also traveled.
Um, Not really though. I will be traveling just soon after Christmas. I'm going to Tassie for 5 days with the family. So that's gonna be very good for sure because it'll be going from away from the warmer weather to go get more colder weather. I would say closer to colder weather maybe most probably. But
Fingers
yeah, it'll be
crossed.
like 5 days only. Two different places for Airbnb, and we got some relatives there as well. So probably staying probably 1 or 2 nights over there. Yeah, my wife is doing all the planning and stuff, so I'm just saying yes to whatever. So I think it'll be a good change. So we'll be back on the 31st December.
Exact
Yeah.
same situation. People were asking me on the work up to go into the UK, and they're like, "Where are you going? Where are you staying?" I have no
Yeah.
idea. I was like,
No,
I can get you my wife's like number if you need to be able to figure out my
yeah.
itinerary, but I'll find out when I go. Obviously, now knowing the bits and pieces and kind of knowing around it, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's crazy. Even like the folk in UK, when you go, "Oh, have you seen uh, landmark name here?" They'll go like, "No, not at all." They just don't have the same, I guess, tourist interest when they live there. So And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
my dad's
Yeah.
side is from Tasmania, so enjoy it.
All right.
It is
All right.
definitely colder over there.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear.
So,
Yeah. Other than that, just training for my high rocks. That's happening again next month. So I have my race day on the 12th December. So training heavily for that one as well. So I'll probably try not to die, try to survive. Yeah, because my partner bailed. So and I thought I'll be doing anyway. So I'm going on my solo race. Yeah. So he bailed out at the last moment, saying he don't feel like doing it for some reason. I had a commit. I made a commitment to myself. I'm gonna finish it. Finish it. I want to finish it. Finish 2025 with a bang. So yeah, I'm doing it. So
That's
I'm pretty excited for that.
that's gonna. I guess for those unaware, what is that you are doing?
Yeah. So it's like you can. It's a fitness race. It's not CrossFit, but it's kind of like CrossFit. So just to put in that perspective, you got like eight stations. Between every station, you had to run 1 kilometer and come back and do the next station. So it would be like sled push with 150 kilograms, sled pull with 100 kilograms, 100 wall balls, burpee broad jumps to 100 meters, I think. Farmers carry with 224 kilogram weights to 200 meters or something, or 80 meters, can't remember. But anyway, so it's like 8 stations in between running. Um, the key is to not to gas out, not to burn out. Keep the consistency. Don't run faster. Just be yourself, do your thing, and try to finish it. So I'm just gonna do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you're not trying to win for any other reason other than to finish it yourself. Even that
That's
in
it. Yeah.
itself. I mean, you're saying these things. I'm like, there's no chance. Like no chance. Like I was trying to lift car parts yesterday, and even towards the end
Yeah.
of lifting car parts, I was like, I'm done. Like, and the parts were probably 15, 20 kilos, but at the end of the day, lifting just car parts, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm so worn out.
Yeah. It's a bit of a process. I had to do my long distance running just to build the base. So I won't. I will be like I can survive the whole session. So that's my endurance. So on top of that, I'm building my strength as well. So a bit of everything I'm doing these days. So it's good. So it's like help. It's like mentally preparing me to win a challenge. So I can definitely get the same experience to my other things as well, like career or life or whatever. So yeah, so that more like a very good mental preparation, I would say. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. That's probably the key of it is that mental
Yeah.
preparation. Because even you saying it, I'm like mentally nah. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be for me.
Yeah. I'll send photos.
I was going to say, are you going to post bits and pieces on your LinkedIn, or
What's that? Sorry.
are you going to post bits and pieces of it on your LinkedIn?
I just want to do one post, so that will be my most probably my first non-tech post. So I'm just thinking what to write there. Most of the guys are doing like shirtless. If you have seen any High Rocks photos, 95% of the males are just doing shirtless. So if I do shirtless, I'm just thinking, can I just post it in LinkedIn? It would be like not suitable for work.
you wouldn't be the first.
Yes. Yeah.
I was going to say you could be,
Censored.
unique and do it shirted.
Shirted.
Stand out from the
With
crowd.
shirt and tie, he means,
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, smart casual.
but
So
I
but
have
nothing else. Just
Yeah, yeah. I've seen memes where people saying, just a tip, you can do high rocks with a t-shirt. You don't need to remove your t-shirt.
look, I'm sure we don't want to
Yeah,
get dirty anyway, so no.
yeah.
And
So
then
yeah, that's me.
Andrew, you're heading off as well.
yeah, we fly out on Friday, or in a few days' time for whenever this episode airs. We'll be going to China. We will be visiting northern China, so Beijing. So yes, we're going from nice warm weather to sub-zero temperatures as we hit up the Great Wall and all that. So that'll be a week of coldness, and then we head back down again into southern China and pretty much get back just after Christmas. So it's 4 weeks of probably a lot of eating, and have a bunch of sightseeing that can be done that isn't going to be repetitive, but it is what it is. But yeah, I haven't been on a extended bit of vacay for a while now, so tends to fit in well. Wife wasn't very happy with me throwing away all my annual leave every year.
I was going to say,
Yeah, every couple of years. Anyway, moving on.
Same as us as well. Your wife is doing the planning, or are you doing the planning as well for the trip?
Uh, Mostly her. I mean, there was some input. I leveraged our friend GBT.
I was going to say Copilot.
Think of some light itinerary over there. Very optimistic in its because it's going to be, there'll be an elderly person, there's going to be a really young person, and a couple of, whatever age we are. And it came back saying, "Oh, you can do all this in the 6 days that you're up there." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I could do it.
You
Maybe
can
not so much everyone else."
skydive. And then you and then you'll do a marathon. It'll be fun. Don't worry. Energy is
Well, not
replenishable.
probably not during winter. I mean, they did a half. Well, I don't know if they're full, but there's definitely a half marathon on the Great Wall of China. That'd be interesting to do. Yeah, not when it's frozen over. It's a bit of an uphill
Bit slippery.
Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, obviously, yeah, just come back from the UK. The lowest I had was a 12, and the highest we had was a 17. I was like, this is all right temperature. Very disappointed I didn't get to see snow. Obviously, we touched back down, and a week later, London gets a 3 and gets snow. And I'm like, oh, wow, I just never have seen snow in my life. And if I just waited an extra week, I probably would have. But
Yeah.
I guess it just means that, there's still something on the bucket list to head back to London sometime.
Well, anyway, in the northern hemisphere, that's cold enough, right? Well, some places in southern, but it's unlikely we'll see much of that.
No, I think we're back to 35s here in Perth. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Warm
hot.
there as well for us.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
past couple of days, there was a lot of heavy rain on the weekend, and there's gonna be rain for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
I think there was a cyclone up north, which probably doesn't help.
Yeah, no, I would like some rain. That'd be good.
Yeah. Anywho, that aside, well, last week was Microsoft Ignite, so the flagship conference over in the States, and this time they did it back at San Francisco at the Moscone Center. So apparently they hadn't done it there for 20 something years. Someone fact checked me there, but they liked it so much that they're doing it again there next year. I believe is it the mayor or whoever runs the city there. He's pretty keen to get Microsoft back there to do the big show, along with all 20 something other conferences they have on in the upcoming year. Yeah, so I guess we'll just cover some of the latest announcements, news, and tidbits, and go from there.
Absolutely. Oh, look, I'm happy to start. I'll take some of the Defender, XDR, and the Seam side of things, purely because that's where I think some of the most, I guess, under the radar value has come. Now, obviously, there's some bigger announcements I'll leave to you guys, but I guess just wanted to cover off some of the Defender, XDR, and the Seam bits and pieces. Obviously, a lot of these are AI based. Now, you know, bet you didn't expect that one. But I guess one of the, upcoming, or at least some of the big ones that have come out, or at least have been announced. One of them being the predictive shielding within Defender for Endpoint. The idea of that is that Microsoft essentially introduced like an AI-powered capability that can essentially anticipate when attack paths are materializing before they occur. So no different to, I guess, standard machine learning. I guess where this starts to really come into, to play of things, but it leverages obviously all of the Defender suite, so your Defender for endpoints, your identity, your cloud workloads, to then model those potential adversary behaviors. But then what it then does on top of that is it simulates the what if. So that what if this attack path occurred, or what if this attack path occurred based on all of that telemetry. And then Defender has the ability then to be able to essentially harden certain vulnerable assets to be able to essentially disrupt the activity. So whether that be, quarantine said file before it actually eventuates into being something So yeah, essentially the predictive shielding is essentially a capability of like the, I guess, yeah, attack disruption. And then obviously there was also the attack disruption upgrades, or at least the expansion of attack disruption, which now has been extended across the multi-cloud environment. So attack disruption now integrates with things like Sentinel and Defender. So obviously being able to coordinate all of that across your endpoints, your identities, your SaaS, your infrastructure and whatnot, which then obviously, explaining it a bit once again, it uses machine learning to detect the kill chain progression and then automatically isolates compromised accounts or compromised devices as well. I'll quickly just share my screen and explain the last one, which let me quickly do all of this. And the last one I'll bring up, which once again AI based, would be the unified SOC platform, getting essentially a list of agentic AI capabilities. So the idea is that it's empowering every role across the life cycle. So it starts to look at that life cycle of, let's say, an attack or even specific roles. So you've got bits and pieces. So you can see under detect and disrupt, there is the predictive shielding. So that is one I just mentioned in regards to that attack disruption capability. You've also got the agent powered attack disruption, which I believe is another capability in itself. And I just want to highlight some of the others, such as I'm a big fan of over on Recover and Optimize. They are looking at in future having bits and pieces such as the monitor for control drift, which I think is a massive, I guess, upgrade. It's essentially going to enable aspects like logging to be able to see what has happened in your environment in terms of control. So obviously I've previously done bits and pieces like the M365 DSC presentation. I've really spoke highly of that, given that it has the ability to look at controls within an environment and indicate when control drift occurs. Once again, this is looking at agentic AI to potentially even do that. So elements like that are obviously very, very, high on my list of, what I would suggest is extremely important. But once again, just highlighting some of the, I guess, bits and pieces in terms of where agentic AI is. And then I'll swap back to everybody. But once again, the triage and investigate components, once again, 4 of them have been essentially announced will be coming into play, which is, highlighting the 4 would be the phishing triage agent. So the idea of that is it essentially allows you to specifically assist in triaging of phishing. So for those unaware, it's essentially the fake emails of trying to get information or trying to pretend to be someone else and so on and so forth. There's also the threat hunting agent, which essentially allows for you to put together massive queries of KQL to be able to get insights a bit easier. So essentially think of it as like a bit of a KQL helper. But then you've got dynamic threat protection. So the idea is that it allows for you to find and fix potentially those false negatives. So the idea of that is it proactively hunts for false negatives within your environment. So essentially allows you to have that SOC optimization component. And then finally, that threat intelligent briefing agent. Now, this is something I was actually building an agent for, because my thoughts were that this information comes in swarms. What do I need to know that's in the context of my environment? Once again, this is one that recently has been announced, which is now native to the Defender portal. So yeah, once it generates tailored, once again, to your environment, AI authored threat briefings, literally in minutes. Giving you information across the global scale, once again with your environment's context, without having to leave the incident pane. So if you've got an incident that has an IP address that you should be aware of, you're going to have that straight in front of you. But apart from that, once again, obviously Security Copilot costs a bit of money, but I'll pass it over to Andrew and see how we can potentially use Security Copilot a bit cheaper.
Thanks for the name drop there. So yeah, Security Copilot, I think the biggest bit of news out of that space, Microsoft Ignite, was the fact that they are now offering security compute units if you have an M365 E5 subscription. Now it's dependent on the number of seats. Loosely, there's a rate of, I believe, 400 SCUs per 1,000 seats.
Yes,
Someone
correct.
fact
Yeah,
check me.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yep.
So yeah, and then it scales to the number. So if you haven't got 1,000, if you got maybe just 100 users, then it's whatever the division is there from the 400 to. So per month, rolls over every month, so you can still get the benefit of using Security Copilot through the chat agent, and then you have access to all of the different Security Copilot agents as well. So all the ones that you may have just mentioned there, some of the ones we talked about in the previous sessions, there's like 30 odd first-party ones from Microsoft and just as many third-party ones from various security partners out there. So I believe that's now rolling or becoming available to those who have E5 and Security Copilot first. They'll get the 30-day notification that this is coming, and then afterwards it will roll out to all tenants that have M365 E5 without Security Copilot, so they can start to embrace all the good stuff from Security Copilot. And since we're on the topic of security and agents and AI and all that stuff, I guess, yeah, Ignite itself, unsurprisingly, was really all about agents and AI and all that. Someone did point out they did a find or search over the Book of News document, and the word agent comes up 496 times. Bit of a biased report there. So yeah, and with that, everything about becoming a frontier firm, being on the cutting edge, everybody adopting agents and using them, implementing them in essentially their workforce. So now there's this concept of the Frontier Early Access program. So instead of just calling it preview, it's now Frontier. So you're going to see a lot of agents coming up, appearing with the word Frontier next to them. That means it's in preview. So you will see more and more of these appear. And alongside that, one of the things that I guess was announced and we knew was sort of coming is something called Microsoft Agent 365. Now, there's enough confusion as it is between different products, but having yet another thing with 365 in the title, that won't confuse you at all. But this one is all around having that, I guess, single spot to manage and secure all of the agents inside your tenant. So not just Microsoft first-party ones, but all the third-party ones you can add from the agent store. And yeah, you have that visualization of where they're being used, how they connect to each other, what data they're tapping into, particularly with something called Work IQ. So this is enterprise grounding. So they had Graph API to do the grounding before. Somehow between us talking about that a while back and the guy from was he the president VP of LinkedIn coming in talking about Work IQ, and now suddenly agents and Copilot have extremely better access to our work data. So that's emails, Word documents, etc. And this gives us a way to kind of protect at scale as well. So alongside that, one other thing is, well, it's always been on the top of mind, is what happens with our data, or what happens when our data is being processed. And early days, probably a year and a half ago, when M365 Copilot was fresh, people were always asking, well, what's the deal with our data? Is it going to be accessed offshore? Is it going to be processed elsewhere? And the terms of use would state that at times of high usage, or when the resources were heavily slammed, to put it a better way, Microsoft would then leverage neighboring regions' data centers. So for us in Australia, they might look over to New Zealand and go, "Ooh, you've got some free processing power. Let's borrow that." And the wording around that was, it's only borrowing the processing power. The data's not going out. But then how does it manage the process, the stuff, if there's not there's no data somewhere? So bit of blurred lines, gray areas, but it was the same kind of concept with M365, Office 365. You're already under that same kind of commitment of, yes, your data's on shore, and it's going to be as best kept within the region, not without leaking out to other regions. So this was a bit of a stealth drop. I don't believe it was in the Book of News. It was in one of the attached documents, or the tech community blog posts, and this is Microsoft offering guaranteed in-country data residency and data processing commitments. So by end of year, we look to be having that in Australia, India, and Japan at a minimum in the APAC region. Malaysia will be some point next year. And what I may do is I should probably share my window here and you get an idea of what I'm talking about. This one here. So we look, see here, you can see we're on the far right here in the APAC region. So by end of year, we should have this guaranteed in-country data processing. And around the world, we're going to see similar commitments, particularly in the EU, where they have a bit more of a spicy requirement for their data sovereignty and all that. So you get all the purple bits going on there. And obviously there's local residency in the US and LATAM regions. So that's that bit. Let me just stop sharing this one. And alongside this, it's all part of this Secure Future initiative. We've got the Agent 365, we've got this data processing sovereignty. We've now got something called Microsoft Baseline Security Mode, or BSM. And this is now generally available and rolling out globally. And this is, again, another way to help you get secure faster. So you're hiding your tenant with these kind of pre-canned settings. So it's really going to help you with disabling legacy settings, enabling secure by default configurations, running simulations for those complex settings to then assess what kind of user or app impact there may be if you turn them on, and being able to deploy any protections that you wanted to, but with just a few clicks. So it's no longer a challenge to create all these policies that don't conflict with each other. So this is now available for Office 365 and Entra. So it's all around authentication, files, and room devices. And soon enough, we'll see it spread out to the rest of the other sections like Purview, Intune, and so on. So it's a good starting point to get your tenant hardened and get that secure score up and high. If anyone still uses that, piece of string, right? And I guess one last thing I'll touch on is in the Purview space. We talked about it a lot in previous sessions around data security posture management, particularly DSPM for AI. And now they're just one thing. So they're merging. It's just data security posture management, DSPM, regardless if you are or aren't using AI. I'm pretty sure you are going to be using AI, so it doesn't matter what they call it. But yeah, that's just to keep you on your toes. But yeah, they're bringing in some other stuff. There's AI observability, so being able to see all of the agents. You can see whatever they're doing in Purview. And something that dropped in September was this healthcare, something around protecting the content protection, health content protection, something like that. So it was set up so that only specific people could unprotect certain files if they were relevant or essential to their job. So I believe in the healthcare space, you don't want to see all of the details, or you shouldn't see all the details. This way, if you are the right person, you are allowed to, I guess, open up a file to see all the patient's details and so on. So that's a thing.
Would that be
Yeah,
essentially just the anonymization of certain details that I guess obfuscate a full result, or is it that it was? Sorry, I didn't catch that one. To be honest, I didn't see that one. But
it wasn't so much obfuscating, but it was more preventing people from accessing it unless you're the right person. I'm probably not doing it justice. It was kind of hey, that's the thing that happened recently, but I think everything else around Purview getting more agent tools was kind of overshadowing this announcement, which I don't remember hearing about in September. So
I'd be interested in
good to
seeing
have
how
that.
that works alongside things like e-discovery and whatnot. Obviously, the content explorer and your ability to go through an e-discovery case and see what people have been doing. Would you essentially have to allocate permissions? Oh, look, I think this is one of those things where I'll go and look it up myself. But just would you have to allocate additional permissions to someone doing an e-discovery? Would that potentially change the
I'm
role of
guessing
who would be doing
will
that?
be more. Yeah, I'm guessing there'll be more RBAC
Mm.
stuff coming into the scene, or maybe purview related RBAC or Entra RBAC that can be added to the Entra the purview side of things, and also I can see a perfect harmony between the whole 365 agent 365 as well as the new DSPM stuff coming into the scene because they're all talking about the agents. So authentication, everything can be managed from one end, and the compliance stuff can be managed from the other side of the thing. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, there's already a massive handful of RBAC within Purview. I think it's by far
Yeah.
the most comprehensive in terms of least privilege. If you've sat SC 401, you'll definitely, you know, have to know them all. But yeah, it makes sense that there would just be an additional element maybe within the e-discovery or within some sort of content searching capability, to be able to essentially unlock and look at those files from a looking perspective, but also from a protective perspective as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I haven't yet seen that, so I'll probably look into that after this one.
It has. Guess Shehan, if you've had a bit of a look at what was announced.
Yeah. So Intune is the one that I basically had a look at an Entra side of things as well. So in the book of news, it just agents again. So for Intune, I'm just looking at a change review agent, a policy configuration agent, and a device offboarding agent. So I'll go through those first, and then we can just discuss on those ones as well. So the agent will analyze the change request context, checking for the risks, conflicts, and everything, and it will help to make clear recommendations of what needs to be done as far as the change is concerned. And also this multi-level admin approval scripts and requests that will be evaluated as well. So I think they were doing a lot of work in the whole multi-admin approval things recently. So I think it's again coming everything together with the whole change review agent as well, so they can identify whether that's needed, yes or no, sort of a thing. So that's the agent review, sorry, change review agent. The policy configuration agent, it's basically helping you to create the policies in a optimized way, and also mapping with the recommended settings. So I believe most probably with the requirement that we have, it will show or run through the best settings that needs to be added according to the say platform, or according to the scenario that we have. Device offboarding agent is again, it basically uses the activity signals to identify which devices should be offboarded rather than we going through, say, it will be really useful for an organization like an enterprise which has got like thousands or hundred thousands of devices. So identifying that and improving efficiency across the board when it comes to offboarding, rather than just keeping the stale devices or someone to go through or someone to write a script to go through those stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the Intune side of things. But also, if the devices are Intune enrolled, this is from the Windows announcements. The point in time recovery, I think that's general at the moment. General availability. Where is that? So it's basically you can do cloud rebuilds as well. This was all Insider, only for the Windows 11 Insider capable some time ago, but I think now it's all available for Windows devices in general. So that's to combat disruptions and large scale disruptions that we had like in the past. So I think they came across a lot of iterations of that, discussing what needs to be done. So you can rebuild the device on the fly as well if you got the correct configuration, as well as if the devices are enrolled into Intune. So that's a good, I think the good configuration to have for any level of enterprise, I would say. So going to Entra side of things, I think I saw another agent over there, and supporting the agent 365 as well from the authentication side of things. So everything is coming together in agent 365. The agent ID, it says now previewing the agent 365. Don't know how that looks like because agent ID is available in Entra at the moment. Maybe probably the same view is there with more options. Again, agent ID is working as a, if I'm correct, as a service principal side of something like that. But the only thing is it's for agents, not for the other applications. So I believe maybe more controls, authentication controls coming up with Entra there. Yeah, so again, they're talking about the conditional access optimization agent, identity risk management agent, and app lifecycle management agent, which is automating discovery and onboarding, monitoring, remediation of apps, enterprise apps coming to the scene, and also the access review agent. I think they were all there in the past, I believe, if I'm correct.
I believe they were all there. Yeah.
Yeah. But however, they are talking in the book of news again. But other than that, Entra Internet Access got some capabilities as well. Yeah, so those are the things which are available there for Entra.
I think I saw with the global secure access agent access over that was going to be a thing potentially, so that you can only access the agent via the whichever one it
Yes.
was. not internet, private access. That's one.
Yeah, the private access. I think I saw one of the mechanics videos on the same day of the first day of Ignite, I think. So what they were discussing was, say someone is accessing RDP, that RDP should be direct access, but in the past or before this new feature came into the scene, it's going round trip as well before a user accessing the RDP. But now it bypasses, so it will be direct access, but the authentication will go through Entra in order to get MFA or whatever the access to be challenge to be completed first, and they will have access to the RDP or whatever the app directly. So that's the gist of it. But yeah, I think we can probably share those documents and all links in the description as well.
Absolutely. I think that gets enforced through conditional access from memory. That's a condition that you have to apply yourself
Yes.
to. It aligns to what application you're trying to get, what users are trying to get it.
That's correct. Yeah. So you have to have your rules correctly set up in the private app set up in GSA, as well as your conditional access policies as well for that application. Yeah, and the users as well.
One of the new, I guess, Intune bits and pieces that I noticed that wasn't necessarily agent focused, which obviously we like to pick those up when we can. In Intune, that app management space for deploying applications, you now have the ability to deploy essentially with PowerShell. So the idea is that when you used to have to full-blown package and then figure it out, you now have the ability to use PowerShell commands. So that was one of those ones that kind of slid under the radar, but anybody's put together packages of applications and you don't have, enterprise app management within the Intune suite, getting at least applications deployed to your environment is going to be substantially easier. Obviously look at EAM long term, definitely in terms of the patching side of things. You're going to, have a lot less headaches for a very, small price, essentially, ticking a bunch of boxes in that area. But yeah, the Intune PowerShell, PowerShell enhanced deployment for app management definitely slid under the radar, which I was pretty happy to see.
Yeah,
I'll have to look into that.
No, it was I think I saw a write-up from, and the name slipped me, it'll be one of the well-known Intune fans within the community. I will find it, but it's completely slipped me,
All
unfortunately.
right. Yeah. No, it's a bit remiss of me. I didn't share my screen when I was talking about Agent 365, so I will quickly just do that
Yeah.
now. Assuming you guys haven't seen it in any of your tenants, I feel like you do need Copilot or some of some degree, and to have enabled or enrolled in the Frontier program. But effectively, it lives here now. So the first time you see it, there will be a pop up on the screen just to obnoxiously tell you, "Hey, it's a thing now." But what they did, and if you're familiar with the Copilot setting in an M365 Admin Center, is the agents thing is no longer listed underneath Copilot. It's been brought out, and there's a whole collapsible section for agents. So from here, the overview, you can see
Oh, yeah,
all of the
right, yeah.
so. So all the different agents you've got, publishers and all that. And I guess like as you go down here, you can then go. This is where what you would have seen before in the old setting is going through and allowing or deploying certain agents, and that lives in here now. You can see all the different frontier agents. You can do a quick filter with Microsoft. You can see all the ones that are coming from the announcements. And so on. And then this bit here, tools. So if you're playing with MCP servers, this is probably somewhere you can have a look as well. But these are all essentially the first party ones from Microsoft. That's can't really do too much in here just yet, but I imagine you'll be able to manage those third party MCP servers as well at some point. Probably not, maybe not through here. It doesn't look like there's many options in here for some reason, but that is that for now. And then there's some just overall settings. So yeah, fly out windows just to tell you, hey, this is what we're not allowed to share and all that. Sorry, that's sharing. That was allowing. Yeah, that's just a quick whip of what it looks like. Nothing too special, but it's where it is now. I think there is it going to be a build. Is it going to be an extra cost for Agent 365? Did anyone see?
I don't
It's at
think
one
there.
stage.
I don't think
Yeah.
there was an additional cost. No, I didn't see it an additional cost.
Hmm.
But in saying that, I would say that if you have the money to obviously build and use agents at scale, you're probably already paying for the use of the Admin 365.
Yeah.
Once again, I think it's just a consolidation of information, no different to the admin center itself.
Hmm.
I'll flick it back. And yeah, just confirming absolutely when you are editing an application or deploying an application under the program settings, where you would normally have the install type, the uninstall type, whether it be command line and so on and so forth, which you previously had, you can now choose PowerShell script. It then gives you the install script upload feature. And the idea is you can upload a PS1 into there. So the idea is PS1. You can upload a PS1, which is obviously your PowerShell script to install. And then obviously then you can default back to, command line to uninstall and whatnot. But if you've tried to, uninstall and install via command line, it's definitely not as fun. And obviously I probably have defaulted to PowerShell in the past. But yeah, absolutely. It is a feature under the install type where you would normally choose something like the package or the command prompt. You can now choose PowerShell. Do I have that on my screen at the moment? No, I brought it up on my phone quickly to double check. And, but no. In saying that, one of the, I guess, big Entra movements from, I guess, the community, we'll call it, even though it may not be specifically the community, is the Entra assessment, or what I believe is the zero trust assessment.
Yeah.
Did you want to cover that one, Shehan?
Yeah. So I think the great Merrill's team, including him, came up with that this assessment. I think we of course have the master, which we discussed, and it's like popping up every time on LinkedIn, which we can create and run our own tests. But this is more like a baseline test that you can do. very easily can adopt in any organization. So I went through the whole documentation. So again, this is a part of the whole SFI, Secure Future Initiative. And it's usually, sorry, basically you need the partial 7, that's all you need, and of course the level of access to read the settings and the configuration of the organization and the portals and stuff. So yeah, so global administrator first to set up, and then subsequent runs you can do global reader. um, and also this is to global administrator, yes, to consent the application itself. But yeah, so it's a small partial module that you have to install. I'll probably share my screen. It will be easy to show the stuff.
Just going to say
um,
cloud app administrator or app administrator, if we're going least privilege, would also be able to do it, I'm pretty sure.
yeah
But
yeah
if you're
yeah
playing in
yeah
this space, you probably you probably have global admin.
yeah, definitely. So in the web page itself, it gives you a very user friendly sort of a report to understand what's your current situation is. So device currently it supports the devices and identity. I think the plan is to add more components into the whole zero trust assessment. So as you can see, just a matter of installing this partial module, and then from that point onwards, so it will take these access, these permissions, API permissions. So as you can see, they are all read only permissions. So all the components of Entra and devices, that covers these sort of permissions. And once you run it, so you need to have a subscription for Azure, basically. That's to export all the logs, and then it will run the assessment and give you the result in a nicer way. So all the steps are in this zero trust assessment documentation. So if I quickly go through, so it will basically save the assessment as well. So this is the dashboard that you get. So as you can see here, it gives you a high level information about users, groups, managed devices, guests as well, and what are the tests that it ran, and how many tests that got successful, and also a high level view of privileged users, or use authentication, device sign-ins and whatnot. Device summary as well. If you're a large organization which has got pretty much all the platforms, so it will show everything for you anyway. Compliant devices, and the device ownership, personal law, corporate, those sort of things. So that being the dashboard. So when you go into the identity tab and the device tab, it will show all the tests that it ran through, and what got failed and what basically passed. So you can do filters by SFI pillars, for an example, and what's passed or what's failed, something like that. So as you can see, these are all very well known configurations that you need to have in your organization. So as an example, legacy MFA, SSPR to the converged authentication methods, and user sign-in activity, token protection, those sort of things in conditional access policies that needs to be enabled. Administration from using SSPR, so span across all the aspects of identity, I would say, that needs to have that zero trust enablement in your organization. Same for the devices as well. So it goes with Intune, what sort of things I need to have, encryption, again, BitLocker, compliance policies and things like that, and are they connected with your conditional access policies and whatnot. So it will say if it's passed, what's checked, and if it's failed, what needs to be done as well. So that's very comprehensive, which is really good. You don't need to check another documentation to see how to do that. So it will show everything here as well with the proper links to those other documentations. and also how to remove the module and everything. So this again goes with the zero trust pillars that Microsoft have at the moment for this test: identity and devices. So these are all again shown here as well, the checks and all. So if you go to high global administrator to privileged user ratio test, so it will go, it goes through a very comprehensive it shows very comprehensive information about what needs to be done, why this is a thing in this FI, and what needs to be done. So say that you have a tenants that only got conditional access policies, for an example, or you don't know what to do from an assessment or a baseline perspective. This is a good place to start with. And also maybe customers who doesn't have skills to do maybe master, for an example, to run GitHub and everything, they can just adopt this one very quickly and then start working on fixing and closing the gaps. So I think it's a very good initiative. And the best thing that I can see is, because it's very easy to install and run, easily you can just start getting that zero trust enablement in your organizations for the devices and identity for the moment. So that's pretty much it about that. We will definitely share the documents links as well, so can go through that.
When I saw Meryl share about this, if you go back to that where you had the graphs and all the assessment, I actually thought it was their revenue for the quarter post. They usually do that. That. I was like, oh yeah, he's doing one of those posts. And I did a double take. I'm like, hang on, this is from Meryl. Yeah, and then I realized, oh, it's about security, not their revenue.
Not revenue.
I mean, I gotta say, in terms of all of these assessments that are starting to pop up, this is by far the most visually appealing assessment that there is.
Absolutely.
And I think when you obviously are in a consulting role or some sort of stakeholder engagement, this is the stuff that people want to be seeing. They don't want to be seeing Excel spreadsheets. They don't want to be seeing, Word documents where just have words. Like this screams red means bad and green means, not as bad in some of these cases. But
I think also, just one thing about the whole the standards. So in the documentation, they have mentioned this is going alongside with CIS and NIST policies. So again, same as how they're creating all the security baseline policies in Intune for the devices, it's the same sort of mixed and mixed situation, I would say, and done by the experts who know security well. So definitely can recommend these two organizations.
I guess that's part of that whole Secure Future Initiative endeavor, is
Correct.
that's integrating a lot of very bright minds around the world into having a holistic view as to what zero trust is. Because if you ask one person, zero trust to be don't trust anybody, but then others will say it's actually it's trust with explicit defined bits and pieces in place. And so I think this is starting to get that full blown across the board, and I really like the fact that there's actionable insights, like where you can essentially provide almost a roadmap. This is where we are, this is what we plan to do. And then from my memory, all of those that you see in front of us now, the user sign-in activity tokens, protection, or block admin, my understanding is that no different to what Shehan showed from the Learn portal, those all go to the information, which would then show you the upcoming how to do the steps to complete. Once again, I think that it's maybe a bit opportunistic, or at least upbeat, but I think if it's ran by some of Microsoft's brightest minds, it should hopefully be integrated within the Microsoft system to really knuckle down that commitment to wanting the business or the businesses using their platform to adopt zero trust within their organizations, rather than it being a PowerShell and permissions outside. But look,
Yeah.
absolutely, you're absolutely right. If you're running Maester, if you're running all the third-party tools, you need this, that, and the other, and the output is good, but I think this is definitely a cut above the rest.
Yeah. All right, I'll stop streaming.
Easy. And we're back. Yeah, no, as I said, I think in terms of, how I guess everywhere's moving forward, the assessments alignment to, baselines. Obviously, Microsoft and the community are doing an amazing job to try and help people get to a common understanding of a baseline, and also trying to provide metrics associated, so that there are certain scores that you could aim for outside of secure score, which I guess to answer your question, Andrew, I'm pretty sure secure score is used by like cybersecurity insurance and like that side of things, because it is the only metric that they can go how bad or good are you on a given day. But or bad or good, that's definitely not the term. Maybe good or gooder.
There's the average score
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
your industry, right? It's like they know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pretty sure it's used within like the cybersecurity insurance side of things, as a metric that everybody has if they are within the Microsoft stack, and it's kind of a finger in the air on what day you do your assessment as to what what score you're getting, because sometimes it jumps around. So no, I think something like this is definitely hopefully going to align people to push for more secure platforms, more secure environments, and hopefully a lot less threats.
Yeah.
I was going to say, outside of that, there was obviously, that's pretty much, from my understanding, everything that would be new. Actually, there was the external ID in Entra. My memory serves me correct. That currently is still not available within Australia, which is the external ID, which is the verification method. I believe that was semi-announced to be coming to Australia soon. So obviously everybody in the US side of things already has it. I believe early 2026, that is one that is going to come and finally make its way onto our shore, which once again is that, I guess, that verification layer of, for example, if you're going to do a password reset and you want to confirm that the person on the other side of the phone is in fact the person you're trying to contact. Obviously, it's almost like a trigger mechanism, so you can use the verification, whether it be through the M365 app, for example, to be able to just confirm, yes, this is the person we are looking to reset the password of, so that the call-based phishing and everything, which has actually damaged a lot of companies through not sufficient process and procedure, because everybody wants to help the person in distress. And the person in distress is sometimes a phishing. This is obviously that way to fix that, and it's good to see that it's coming to Australia soon. But
is that the verified ID component?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the verified
yeah.
ID. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, apart from that, I can't think of anything else that's what's new.
Filtering out all the agent and AI stuff. I think that was probably 70-80% of all the security related things that were announced. There's a few more, but like just more different agents, I guess, around security. Like, it's gonna be more and more. Where are we now? End of November. So yeah, give it a 3-4 months, and we'll probably hear some more news around what's the latest in that AI space. Anyway,
I was going to say some of the very brief ones in the Copilot studio. Good to see the addition of GPT-5, both chat
5.1.
reasoning, 5.1, sorry, the chat and reasoning and the auto as a model. So the idea is now that you can move up from 4.1, and you can now decide whether you want your agent to have 5.1's. I think it is GPT-5. Is it 5.1?
Minimum would be 5, because
Yeah.
they'll phase out the previous one 30 days after it becomes available.
But there is the chat and the reasoning, where chat is more conversational, reasoning is more complicated tasks, and auto
Yes.
is, depending on what you say, may determine which one it defaults
Yeah.
to. So the idea is that
Model
if you,
routing.
that's right, absolutely. So I think in some of the agents that I've played with, where it's purely just task based, you grab this for me, thank you. I've obviously defaulted to reasoning, where obviously if you're starting to think more holistically about how you can maybe do a business process change a bit differently, or something a bit more conversational, how should I approach XYZ conversationally, obviously the chat would be the go. And if you want that mix between the two, where there's still a bit of I guess still a bit of chance that they might not choose the correct model for you, there is the auto. Once again, I think wherever auto is available, it's a good middle ground. But if you know what you want the function to be, just choose either chat or reasoning. But all in all, just give it a go, give it a play. If it doesn't work, change it back and see how you can go.
Do you know if the reasoning or the model routing would come into the security copilot space as well, or because I haven't really played too much of that, just
You're
how
absolutely.
inaccessible it was before. So
I actually haven't tried to put together a security agent using them. I've purely done.
because that's still very new, being able to create
Yeah,
your own security copilot agents.
yeah. So I
Tune in
haven't.
next time.
Yeah, right. For 2026, we'll have 20 of them. No, no. I think that was obviously I've always defaulted into the Logic app space for when I need to automate anything in Security Copilot, because obviously in some of my previous presentations, which I think I actually did one just after the last podcast recording, where I did the Zero to Hero, discussing the Security Copilot's integration with Logic apps. I kept defaulting back to just using Logic apps for automation in that space, just purely because you have the ability for playbooks and automation through Microsoft Sentinel. So I have not actually, I guess, changed my mindset of, oh, I could do this with an actual agent now. I just keep going back to my same old, my same old methods. But I should figure that one out, because eventually.
Because they'd reference them as tools, wouldn't they? It's no longer agent flows or logic apps. It'd just become a tool, because or any form of automation, like MCP servers, they'd be tools as well. And I think when you're creating the agent in Security Copilot, it's a similar kind of Copilot Studio experience, I think, maybe.
I believe it
So it's
is.
still similar building blocks. So maybe we'll have a chance to play with that at some point. I think because we missed doing anything last month, Sentinel Data Lake and Sentinel MCP server was announced as well. So all the the room for activities right there.
I think I can't recall 100%. I think we touched on the inclusion of it, but once again, I think it's one of those things where data lake is still that that thing where it's you should use it, but then you should use it, and then people go, yeah, but why fix what's not broken? And it's like, well, you can save a lot of money, but also you kind of have to change your potentially where your logs are now flowing to, and the process works. And I'm sure you've got heartbeat checks over here and whatnot. So it's kind of a bit of a remap of, but you'll save money. So definitely give it a go. I guess for those, when you have things like networking logs where it's, millions a day, the idea is that you have the ability to kind of filter before it gets into Sentinel, so you can kind of reduce the amount of cost within that space. It also gives you the retention increase. So if you do need to have certain information for a longer period of time, that obviously gives you that platform to do that as well. And then as to what Andrew alluded to, obviously the ability to integrate that with agents. So once again, you can now have an agent have a look at that data, so you don't necessarily have to. All of a sudden, you've got the threat hunting agent over there to be able to help you with KQL query. All of it's starting to come together and wrap up really nicely. It's just the setup and execution of it within your environment to get that across the line. I believe from what I've seen, I don't think there's been a large adoption of Data Lake, and I think it's purely through a why fix what's not broken. But as soon as the cost benefits are matter of fact, I think people are going to start moving very quickly over to it.
it's been less than a month since GA, so or maybe just a month. I don't know. But speaking of Sentinel and moving stuff, just last month I had the fun of attempting this. So TLDR, the premise was having an Azure subscription for a CSP that is about to be discontinued, to be retired. The idea was, but there's stuff in there that I want to keep. If they turn off the subscription at the CSP end, then that disappears and I lose everything that comes with it. So having Sentinel and all the logging, want to be able to retain that, and kind of sat there going, how to move this stuff out. And I did a bit of research, a bit of positive discussion with generative AI, and there were some options. Well, it was really only one clear one, but it seems it's not straightforward because even Microsoft themselves don't support kind of the migration of a log analytics workspace from one subscription to another. So as soon as you move it, you can do it, but they won't support it for some reason. I'm sure there's all sorts of issues that you enable by doing something like that. So, we'll try and do this real quick without breaking too much. Demo gods will be unkind.
Shine down on us.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm sure if you've touched Sentinel, you've seen the Azure portal to get into Sentinel. Yeah, this is just where all my connectors are. We'll pretend that there's a lot more connectors and lots of logging going on and all that. If you have been playing with Sentinel more recently, you would notice that if you click elsewhere, oh, where's my stuff? They've moved or merged everything into the Defender XDR portal. So that's this guy over here. You may remember him from security.microsoft.com. So stuff like your config, your logs, and all that, you can see them all from the Defender portal. So just put it out there. There's an automation rule just to show you there. That used to be under here, which again takes you to the same spot. So pretend I had all this stuff here, and I could see all the logging. I needed to move it all. And there was really only one way to do it. And before discovering that, I tried just moving the resources from one sub to another, but that doesn't work. Now the caveat is, as soon as you attach any kind of solution onto a log analytics workspace, you can't move it. I was like, good, great. So the research I did, it was actually you need to delete the solution. So deleting Microsoft Sentinel, that removes the attached solution, but it retains the log analytics workspace. All your logs and all that, they still stay there in that workspace. So you can then move the workspace afterwards to a different subscription and so on. Now, one thing I did discover was something called Workspace Manager. You would have seen a little heading in here. It's in preview, but you need to actually go into the settings of Sentinel. And if you scroll down a bit, the section here relating to Workspace Manager configuration and whether you want to set the current workspace as a central workspace. Probably safe to say I can just toggle this and you can go on and all that. So what this does is it makes this your source of truth essentially. So now that that's on, I can go into Workspace Manager, and what I have to do is I need to add this current workspace in. I believe I need to create the group first, so we'll just do that. If it lets me. Yeah, we'll just call it group. Highly descriptive. Nobody needs to know. And now we can start adding our workspace. I lie.
Is it because it cannot see other workspaces, or do you have multiple?
Probably not. No, I did create a separate one. Let me progress all the way and just create it first. I'll create an empty group first. Azure has some weird things where you have to create the containers and resources separately, but I did this a month ago under duress and it just works. So I don't, now with a clearer mind, it just seems, hang on, this should just work. So try again at a workspace.
Speaking of, just quick side one is the naming convention that you chuck in group. I swear somebody with a bright mind needs to create an extension that just looks at what you're trying to create as a resource And then as you put in, let's say, Australia East or one of the zones, it'll just start propagating the name for you with, the actual naming convention as per, let's say Microsoft's recommendation. I think everybody would adopt a naming convention a lot quicker because
Mm.
by default, you've got to put in those settings anyway, and that kind of forms the naming convention. So you don't get subscription B as your subscription name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
But
intents and purposes of a demo, I went with subscription A and subscription B, Sentinel Workspace A and B. This is just a
so
proof
instead
that
of
there is a work.
001,
There's a yeah. So I did create a separate Sentinel thing, and weirdly enough, I think I've missed a step here. Let's go back down here and enable Workspace. No, that's to make it central. So the demo gods have slapped me around.
you'd need to be in the other Sentinel workspace to be able to select this as the central workspace, I would have thought.
Yes, I thought as well.
Well, I'm in. This is A. So I've made it the central workspace.
So when
I
you
feel
go
like I may have
groups,
done.
when you look at the groups,
Yeah.
you've got the group, and you go actions, add, or edit, or not.
What was in here? That was in here. That was meant to be in here.
Is it region based? Is that the incorrect region?
Oh, they're all on the same. I made sure to pick Australia East, which is the better one. Cool.
Do you need to publish it?
No, that's to publish the content, which is going to be the next step. So publishing the content means you're pushing config from the original
from
source to the
to
members.
the got you.
So conceptually, that's how this should be working.
So just imagine there was two workspaces.
Yeah,
in this,
just
and you've set
imagine
one
I
as
did
the
this.
central, and then you would push the content. It would go to the second workspace, in which you would then remove the original workspace, make that the central, and then just get rid of workspace.
Delete this guy, and then this B would become the primary one. It would inherit all the config, any automation rules, all the connectors, and then afterwards you can go back into the resource group and move the resource from subscription A to subscription B, reattach the Sentinel solutions so they can actually access those historic logs, and then
add that back into the group. Put that so that then repushes.
I mean,
so you essentially need 3 log analytics workspace. You need source.
No, just the 2 here, because I'd moved the original to the new subscription. I just wanted to keep it for just because I still have it, but whatever the base retention is, and until the retention runs out there, that can die slowly in a corner. And when that becomes empty, you don't have to worry about it, and it's just the primary workspace. So that was really the use case I had. From a more realistic use scenario would be you have multiple Sentinel workspaces, and managing them all this way through the workspace manager, having the central, pushing out similar config to all of your different Sentinel workspaces in a matter of clicks. It's pretty good. Only problem is it is still in preview, so I don't know if my issues are because I'm trying to fly too fast or run before walking, that kind of thing. Anyway, I'll revisit this, and maybe we'll fix it in prod.
No, as said,
post prod.
I think just knowing that you did do this and it did work and all that kind of thing. What did it carry over? Just the configuration? So just things within, for example, content management and configuration, or did it also carry over incidents, notebooks, workbooks, etc.?
Yeah, so the most part, it captured most of these things. I think the only thing it couldn't do was query packs. But you could just do those. You can export and re-import those manually. For the most part, it grabbed all the logs. It grabbed certain alerts, rules, automation, and so on. So 80 to 90% of whatever you have in A is going to be pushed across to B with minimal issue. The only issue I had, or error I had, was someone had created a playbook that pointed to a non-existent book. So it just kind of sat there. And if you have just one failure, the whole sync job is flagged as failed. So it's just like, okay.
Would
But
you have to delete the automation rule, which then associated itself to the playbook until it copied
you
across?
can do it, whatever you need to do there. I think just kind of ignored it because it was didn't need it. So yeah, better
Sayonara.
practice. You'd probably sort out the issues if there were a proper problem there, or if you got a whole bunch of logic apps set up. There's gonna be a whole lot of identity matching and stuff. I'm glad there wasn't any of that. That would have blown out the time significantly. But this was just purely just logging upon logging, and I just wanted to keep it all without just throwing it away essentially when I could have it on hold on for a bit longer. So I did write up on what I did at the time. Just self plug here, but yeah, it's one of the use cases, and I might zoom in. Yeah, so having your architecture set up this way. So having tiered approaches as well, if you really wanted to, and code management.
So just thinking out loud, would this allow you to, I guess, in a multi-tenant or like even a lighthouse based, be able to, configure maybe if you're an MSSP doing a SOC and you have access to multiple Sentinel workspaces across several tenants through Lighthouse, would you essentially be able to
Or,
push
well,
baselines?
Lighthouse is already doing that, isn't it? It's to a degree, I would have thought, because you're managing, it's multi-tenant managing. You can see all of the Sentinel workspaces. Are they all being ingested into the same thing though?
So they are all separate workspaces, given they're all separate log
Yeah.
analytics workspaces. But I think in terms of a content side of things, so example be it is that if you were going to onboard a new Sentinel customer, MSSP hat on, would that mean that you would essentially automate a baseline? Let's say, let's use your N tier where you've got your Microsoft Sentinel right up top, which is your central, C? What did you call it?
That's B there. No, this is from the learn. That's from learn. There's
Yep.
image. So
would
the
the
B is at the top.
central B call that your baseline? Central A could be, any other configuration, but then you would have member one and member two. They could potentially be Lighthouse. So central B or even central A could be a baseline of analytic rules that you want to push to every workspace when you onboard them. I guess I can take that back and have a bit of a look.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably where you can start building that out, because they expect you to have multiple levels in the end here, so you could have specific customers on maybe a different SLA or a different offering, or if you want to just have something on the side there as this is what happens, we don't use these. There's all sorts of possibilities rather in how you set this up. I think once it does hit general availability, we may hopefully see some extra features, because at the moment it's just his config. Yeah.
No, brilliant.
Yeah.
No, as I said, I haven't yet seen it, so.
No, in theory and in half practice, it was pretty good. I will revisit this and figure out what is going on behind the scenes there, and maybe we'll just do a separate video on what should happen.
We can't have all of our demos go to plan.
No.
We can just say, imagine when two workspaces got put in here.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, yeah. Look, it wouldn't be IT if it didn't all just go absolutely pair right at the last second on the last podcast of 2025.
This is the way.
go in like we come out like we went in, just clueless and hoping for the best.
Yeah, what a year so far, and I'm glad to have shared our joint experiences in all things Microsoft security so far.
Talk about technology and pretty much everything around technology, security, and how we built things, how we wrote things, and how we spoke about things, and how we found things. So yeah, I think it's been a good ride so far.
Yeah,
Yeah, we could do
absolutely.
it all again next year.
Yeah.
I think 2026. I think we definitely want to try and ramp up getting some more guest speakers. Obviously, some of
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
highlight episodes have been when we've had some of the diverse voices around the community. Obviously, we've had a lot of good feedback from that. So we are going to try and ramp that up a bit. There's some key, I guess, names that we'd like to we'll be in contact. You'll hear from us, but once again, everybody's got lives and whatnot. So trying to tee up, it is sometimes difficult. But no, I'd like to continue that 100%. But yeah, absolutely. Shadowing what Shehan and Andrew have both said. Yeah, it's been a real good experience. Obviously, this is the first, I guess, podcast that I believe all three of us have, started to put together. We've had a lot of good feedback. So obviously, we're touching the bits and pieces that need to be, discussed. And the format of how we're doing things has been praised. So obviously, we want to keep it up, and if anything, ramp it up a bit next year.
Sweet as. Now, for those of you who are actually watching the video, I don't normally look like this. I am participating in Movember, lost the t-shirt, so we'll drop the link to the donations page in the notes and all that. But for those of you listening, just imagine awful, wiry caterpillar on my upper lip, that kind of thing.
If you're listening, you've dodged a bullet. I believe we have had an hour and 20 minutes of looking at it. It's been good. It's but
So far so good.
in a week,
Yeah,
we get
can't
aiming for
wait.
that. No,
All
but
right.
definitely drop the link into that. Obviously, Movember is a very important cause.
Yeah.
So if you do have spare change, please help us remove whatever that is from Andrew's lip.
I don't think it's just an Australia thing. I think the UK does it as well in some other parts. But for those who aren't aware, it is around research and treatment of various conditions in men's health, particularly testicular prostate cancers, mental mental health and depression, and so on, suicide prevention. Just every bit around driving that awareness and raising funds is going to help prevent or at least alleviate some of the stresses in the everyday lives of the men around the world.
This is the third year in a row you've done this?
14th.
Yeah, right.
I think, yeah.
I guess we've only known each other for
the
3 or so.
3 years, yeah.
No, you've always done it. It's always been something that jump scares me on LinkedIn when I'm scrolling. But no, I said keep it up.
All right. Well, on that note, it's been a pleasure to serve our audience and community. So we look forward to seeing you all again in the new year, and all the best for the upcoming holiday seasons and so on. Stay safe out there.
Yeah. See you all.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.